Hello, everyone. We're back. Or at least I'm back. Everybody else is over there. Some people are off to buy fried chicken. I had a little incident. I bought a bunch of pulled pork to make everybody pulled pork sliders for dinner. And I put the pulled pork in the freezer. I was supposed to put it in the fridge. So it's not defrosted. And my wife, the former professional chef, informs me that it may not defrost while everyone's here. And I may just have like 8 pounds of pulled pork for my family to eat after everybody leaves. So that happens. So as I often say, everything happens for a reason, and sometimes that reason is that I'm stupid and make bad decisions. So the good news is that Charity Hammer is not a bad decision, basically ever, and also donating money to sick children, that's also not a bad idea. We've just passed $10,000, so we have another significant digit on our funding, which is yay. $10,062. That means we're about $2,000 from the second biggest Charity Hammer we've ever done, passing that. So that would be just a lot of, that'd be great. That'd be wonderful. You could still donate. I'm going to give away a Bane Blade. Like, that's pretty cool. I'm going to give that away in just a few minutes. So you could still donate and get into that raffle. Every $30 you donate goes directly to Child's Play. That Tiltify page that you see when you click donate, that doesn't go to us. That goes straight to Child's Play. We don't take any of the money. So we track that. We put you raffle. Every $30 you donate is a raffle ticket, and we're going to draw something in just a moment. What we just watched is a lot of really great games that no one has told me how have gone. Fred's here to tell me who won what game. Do you know who won what game over there, Fred?
Alex McDougall beat Steve Trimble.
Okay, Alex McDougall Tyranids beat Steve Trimble's
Michael
Tyranids.
Tempe beat me.
Michael Tempe's Chaos Knights, did they beat you soundly or closely? Did the Death Watch?
It was relatively sound.
Okay.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, I killed half of him, but that was it. He's dominating primary. He usually does what I do, dominate the primary, but all those OPSEC guys everywhere. He's like, I would kill a couple, and then there's I would kill a couple, and there's 3 more right behind. And then I kill a couple, and there's 3 more right behind. And of course, those 3 kill a squad each time. So it's good. It's tough.
Oh, that sounds great. I need someone to go tell Sullivan that his dad's here. That's a weird thing to say in the middle of the stream. But that white car behind me, that's my youngest bio dad, and he's here to pick him up. What's that?
Violence beat Billy pretty soundly.
Anthony beat Billy as well.
Those were the 3 games.
Yeah, okay. And then off stream, Zach's Thousand Sons. Chuck didn't want to play as Orcs into Zach's Thousand Sons. He didn't think that'd be a useful matchup. They actually had done it yesterday. Yes. So Chuck played new CSM into Zach's Thousand Sons. Chuck is going to be tomorrow morning at, I think it's 9 o'clock. Let's just take a look real quick. First of all, there's a game at 9 called New Chaos Who Dis, which is Chuck playing CSM into Violence, into Anthony. And then immediately after that, Chuck and Zach are doing a CSM breakdown where they're going to get a bunch of people together. They're going to talk chaos. Both of those things are tomorrow. We'll get the links out. You guys will be able to see it. We are tracking to have a really great final. It's looking solidly like all of the favorites will be in there, but we also have undefeated Michael Tempe. This was his second game, right? This was your second game. So Michael's 2-0. So he's on his way, maybe, if he wins his 3rd game, which I think is against Chuck. So yes. Orcs versus Chaos Knights means Michael's probably going to make the top 8.
It'll be tough.
I think that the Orcs will have to crump very hard.
If you can crack the wagons, then you got a great chance.
Exactly right. So, so that's what's going on. Next up, we've got some good games. You can help me decide who's going to win these games, all right? All right. Okay. It is the 6 o'clock hour, and it's going to start on stream 1 with John Lennon playing Sisters of Battle into Hank Adams's triple Shining Spear, Sam Hain Eldar list.
I've seen the triple Shining Spear, Sam Hain Eldar list a couple times. It's incredibly fast. However, Hank played that into Jesse's sisters.
Yes, true.
Last round, and didn't work out so well for Hank. It might be a repeat. Okay,
could be, but Hank also probably learned things.
He did.
From that first game.
If he learned tactical mistakes on the board, he's got a chance.
Yeah.
If he learned that he needs to change this thing in my list, it's still something good to learn.
Yeah.
But it's not going to help this time.
Interestingly, Eldar is usually pretty good into sisters because we're a little bit faster, we're a little bit more durable. Especially if Eldar goes first, with Phantasm. We can be on the sisters so quickly. So maybe, but I do always pick the boy king when I'm deciding who's going to win a game. Yeah, like there's also a thing that is just that John doesn't lose very many games. Is the other part of that.
That's true.
Yeah, so on stream 2, oh, I'm sorry, that was actually stream 2 that I just told you guys about. Stream 1 is Sean Dayton, and he's going to play against Noah Badome. The schedule's actually wrong. I'm going to fix it right now. He's playing Noah Badome on stream.
Is Noah playing Tau?
Noah's playing Imperial Knights.
Yesterday,
including the mortal
like
wound
the
spam night. No, he did not like the Tau.
No, he didn't, and he was looking at trades into something, but I left before he decided, and so he decided on Knights.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the Knights into the Orcs.
Yeah, he came to me and he said, Colin, is it okay if I don't want to play Tau? And I said, no, it's always okay to not want to play Tau. That's what I said. Alex says thumbs up. McDougal's over here, straight off of his first of many Nids mirrors for the weekend.
Hey, these are interesting now.
Are they?
I'm not playing Tyranids.
Oh, because you're playing forces. He says they're interesting now because he's playing forces.
You know how I won that game against Trimble? He had something warriors all in Leviathan. I won with acolytes.
Oh, nice.
Steal this and I steal that.
Alex says he won with acolytes. That's great. So the Sean Naden versus Noah game, I think that if these were two completely normal players, two guys, I would say that the Knights win.
You would have to think so.
Yes, but it is Sean Naden.
He's got some sort of mystical spell. Is it on table 1?
It is.
It's the tall table. And
true.
He absolutely adores that table. He might take it home with you.
No, please
Shelf
no.
last year, table this year. You never know.
Yeah, right.
But I have to think that if the Knights go first, can he pop the wagons? He pops the wagons. Now those Mega Knobs are walking across the board in front of Knights. Because you can't really hide them all.
Yeah.
If you can't pop the wagons, or if Sean goes first and the wagons are in the middle, he plays those Orcs very similar to Drukhari. I played him a couple times. I played him at ACO and I played him at LVO last year with his Drukhari, and he's playing the Orcs the same way.
Okay.
Right? It's you got to pop those wagons.
Yeah. I could use that as a bumper sticker. You got to pop those wagons. All right, so we both think Sean's going to win that game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Noah wins.
Noah gets first turn, and sometimes if you're up against what you think is a better skill player, sometimes you just got to put it all on the line.
Yeah.
And you got to say, I go first. I'm gonna give you a really good punch, and if I don't go first because everything's all exposed, well, I thought I was gonna lose anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what's going on there, and then we both think that John will beat Hank, and then the final game is Tyler Bortel playing Tyranids into Mitchell Hunter's Custodes. Now, a week ago,
is he playing forces or Tyranids?
Forces.
Okay.
Thank you. A week ago, I would have said that the Custodes are screwed, but I do think that the power has gone down significantly for the Nids since then. That said, Forces is great against Custodes because they can't screen you well enough to stop your acolytes from picking up all of the points.
So this morning at 6, I stream hosted a game between Mitchell Hunter's Custodes and Josh Schutz's Forces.
Okay.
List. He was playing pure GSC.
Yeah.
And Mitchell was he was very disheveled about all the random stuff popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And he said he had learned playing against Alex at LVO when Alex beat him with a Forces list or a GSC list, how to deal with it. Not to go forward into their trap.
No, don't do that.
He actually had an opportunity to send the bikes forward. He plays 9 bikes.
Yep.
Send the bikes forward into Broodlord and somebody else in his deployment zone. And at that, he moved him forward, and then he said, no, this is what I did against Alex at LVO. I'm going backwards. So he went backwards into his deployment zone to clear out the GSC in the backfield, and it worked out for him. And he might have learned something. So Tyler's got to be careful.
All right.
Because he's a little bit more confident after that game at 6 in the morning.
I think that's completely fair. Just to finish the picture for everybody, at 9 o'clock, we're going to have Chuck playing Michael Timpey, and that'll be Chuck trying to stop Michael from getting into that top 8, because Michael's going to go into that undefeated, so that's really neat. And then Steve Trimble's going to play you. You 2-0? No, you're 1-1. And so is Steve. Your bracket actually might have a 2-1 go in, so you're still probably knocking on the door. And then Violence and Anthony's playing Matt Evans as well. So that'll be Harlequins into Forces, I presume, is what Matt Evans is doing?
Still.
Okay. So that'll finish our games for the day. Then at midnight, I will figure out the top 8. We're going to put the top 8 games up. That's going to be noon to 3 and 3 to 6 Pacific tomorrow. So that's 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock on the East Coast. That's 8 o'clock to 2 in the morning if you're in England. It is 4 in the morning if you're in Australia. So maybe you watch the second game. Maybe you watch the second game. And then those two, then the final for that, the semifinals and finals will be 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It'll be all we're doing on the final day. One of the fun things we're going to do is that we're going to take those top 8. And the 4 that lose will do commentary for the 4 that win. So we'll do that. And then of the final 4, we'll grab the 2 people that are going to do, I guess that first part doesn't work. I'll pick 2 people from the first 4 that lose to do commentary. This actually works. Then for the final 4, the 2 people that lose the semifinal games will do commentary for the final game. So you'll have, like, let's say that McDougal loses to Lennon. McDougal will then commentate Lennon's final game.
Or if Lennon loses to McDougal,
exactly right.
Lennon is the commentator.
Yeah, so so the final game is going to have crazy commentary. It's going to be really high quality.
Well, they'll know the ins and outs of the armies that they just lost to.
Exactly my point.
Yes.
And they will have just played all these games on new missions and everything, and they'll have all these insights to share. I think it's going to be the best content of the whole weekend. And that'll be Sunday. Those semifinals are at 7 a.m. on Sunday. That's 10 a.m. Eastern. That's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's the middle of the night in Australia. I'm sorry, it's hard. It turns out time zones are difficult.
There's 24 of them. They don't all get along.
No, that's probably true. Is there only 24? Because there's a weird half one in Canada, right?
No, 24 time zones.
Okay.
Canada can do whatever they want, but there's 24.
But you don't acknowledge that?
About every 15 degrees of longitude. No.
What?
Damn rights Canada.
But there's that half zone time zone doesn't count?
It's not like preserved by Greenwich Mean Time or whoever sets that.
Yeah.
It's just a convenience thing for that specific region in Canada.
Okay, fair enough. I will let you go on to whatever you were doing, Fred. I appreciate you stopping by and telling me who won the games.
All right.
You could almost argue that I shouldn't have gone live without knowing that, but you saved me. All right, let's give away a Baneblade, folks. Let's give away a Baneblade. I want to tell you that Baneblades now have Armor of Contempt.
They do.
So I'm glad that I wanted to tell you that.
Yeah, it wasn't not incorrect at all.
No. So Baneblades have Armor of Contempt. And I have to imagine that somewhere there's a Peter. Somewhere our Death Corps of Kree. Come sit down, Chuck. Chuck, come join me. Not over there. Sit over here. Oh, you're eating a lot of red vines. Wherever you want to sit is fine. Oh, Mitch is here. There we go. We got Best in Faction. You just can't see Chuck.
I think importantly where did those come from?
And we are actually there's a giant tub. We're in the correct order. We introduce ourselves in the podcast as well.
That's true. We are.
My right, left.
That's exactly right. And then Chuck flubs the thing that he says every time, and that's part of the charm.
Because he's eating red vines. So we've got every element of every Biff Pod episode.
Okay.
That's what I saw.
It's canon now, so we'll work
Pickles,
with it.
I need a number between 1 and 310 to win a Baneblade. All right, 242. 242 is Nikki D. Williams. I wonder if that's Billy D. Williams' kid. That'd be cool.
I mean, yeah, that would be rad.
I'm just going to say yes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it is.
Good job,
I'm
Nikki.
honored to have Billy D. Williams' kid win this prize.
It's a plan generations in the making.
Exactly.
That has befuddled Alex McDougal.
Welcome to the cool status of Pelham.
All right. So they have won a Baneblade. Now I need a number between 1 and 310 from Jesse Sell. I need a number between 1 and 310.
186.
186. 186 is Owen Bissell. Owen's a great guy, wonderful member of the 40K community, and he has just won a month free to The Art of War.
Nice.
Amazing.
Owen, I love you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Jesse's got your back, Owen.
Randomly, at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you looked at this earlier and said, remember to tell me which number Owen is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
exactly how that went.
Guys,
Play, but it was smart.
just like the script says, we don't do this on camera.
Oh.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
We were over this in rehearsal.
Okay. One of my favorite TV things of all time is the Kevin Sorbo disappointed thing. If you guys don't know about this, when Kevin Sorbo was Hercules, which is a show that the old people can explain to the young people. When Kevin Sorbo,
it's The Witcher without CGI.
It's what?
It's The Witcher without CGI.
Yeah, I don't have a comeback to that.
That's exactly what it is.
So in the script, it said that he was supposed to look to the sky disappointed. And it said disappointed in parentheses because it's a script.
Yeah.
Kevin Sorbo's not a bright man. And so instead, he just looked at the sky and yelled, disappointed! Yeah, it's great. And I got to tell you, my wife and I do that all the time. We just yell disappointed at the sky.
I mean, where else would you yell it, really?
It's exactly right. So, like, yesterday, I learned, thanks to having a plumber on site, that the pool house has water leaking on the way to it.
Oh, that's important.
We've got
road stuff.
We've got a groundwater issue over there that I'm actually considering who I'm going to hire to dig a hole. That's one of the things I'm dealing with during Charity Hammer. But when I messaged Stephanie, she responded with disappointed and an exclamation point, and I knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
So we've given our prizes away, which is great. We've talked about who's going to win the next games. But I bet we have to vamp for a little while longer because those games are probably not set up and ready to go. Am I right?
Oh, man.
I would love some flippin' questions.
Sure.
We've had so few questions from chat. I would love to answer some questions. I am... who would you guys like to see me play? I have time, and there's a schedule opening at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I can't play Lennon, and I'd like to. But I want to play Hale. I have an updated Hale list I'm excited about. With after all the nerfs, and I'd like to play it into somebody I don't get to play very often. So, who do you guys want to see me play Hale into? Please don't say Chuck, because I play him all the time.
I also don't want to play against Tail.
Yeah. I mean, those are both valid points.
Maybe Jesse. Jesse can play Sisters into me.
That'd be fun.
He beat Elder earlier today. Yeah, because he's still good. That's why, right?
Nope.
Way to sell it. Have you considered making game-based puns based on your name?
Game-based puns off of my name.
Like you could say, I'm just trying to sell it. You could be, like, you could make puns. I don't know. I'm Jesse trying to sell. That's not funny. That doesn't work.
I think t-shirts is probably the way to go.
I think
My face on them.
Yeah, right?
With a smaller body with a t-shirt with your face, with like just every single one. And
then it would just say sellout.
Team sellout.
Yeah.
All right, I like that.
Hashtag team sellout.
I like that. I think it's Stephen Wright who has the thing where he says that he wants to get a tattoo over his entire body of himself, but larger.
Sure.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's 10% bigger.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I also have told Stephanie multiple times that I want to buy a humidifier and a dehumidifier and put them in the same room and let them fight.
You can do that. I have, in construction, I've seen that precise thing done.
Does it work?
I mean, if you don't want to accomplish anything, but yeah.
Why would they put them together?
Because they thought that they thought they were both dehumidifiers, and it didn't occur to them that adding water to one to dehumidify did not make sense.
Okay.
You don't always work with the brightest crayons. Yeah.
Do we have any questions?
In construction.
No, well, that's sad.
Okay.
You know what's
in the next hour, next block?
Yeah, what's coming up next?
Well, we just talked about that.
Oh, okay, great.
All right then.
We literally just covered that.
Good job, Chuck.
We can cover.
Nailed it.
We could cover it again.
Apparently.
I was going to say that one of the interesting things is that there's nothing hot sauce related about this year. Yeah. And the reason why I think that's interesting is because not only did we did the hot sauce contest last year, but the previous year is where they accidentally trolled Jim Vessel with hot sauce.
Jim Vessel trolled himself.
Yes. So what was that hot sauce? It was very hot. Yes.
That was the
first iteration of the hottest.
It was the original version of Hot Ones.
Okay.
The Last Step. It was the original iteration of the Last Step. It was very tasty.
And people were putting just a little bit on their tacos, as is appropriate.
Yes, and
Jim walked up and thought it was normal bland hot sauce.
He used it like Tapateo.
And he went, and then he starts eating, and he had this pride moment where he's like, I don't know what's happening. I'm dying, and the rest of these guys seem fine. I don't know how to respond to this. Like, what do I do?
And I'm still in the kitchen, and so just Jim, and this is, I know Jim, but like, I don't know him that well, and all of a sudden, a super sweaty Jim Vasal with his hat up here just like comes through the door, and it's like, what happened to me? And he just doesn't understand what's going on, and I'm like, well, did you use that hot sauce? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's $1 million skull bill, bud. That's what's happening to you.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything hot sauce related at the first charity hammer, so it's not really a tradition.
No, I think that it's a nice thing to do every now and then.
Yeah, we didn't do the hot sauce eating contest this time.
Yeah, the vibe of this charity hammer feels much mellower. I think in general, like it's a lot more chill. Last year, I think there was a certain amount of sort of like enthusiasm. Enthusiasm and frenzy because we'd all been locked up for so long, and we
True.
had been so worried about catching COVID for so long, and everyone was tested, and we go through all this stuff, and then you finally see everyone was losing their shit, like getting to be there. So there was this extra celebratory vibe, whereas this year it's so calm, but like you walk around and the conversations that are being had, it's just, you're like, I'm never gonna hear that like outside of LVO, like BAO, or like 2-3 other tournaments. Or
Well,
charity
everyone's
camp.
list designing too.
Yeah, it's just,
Normally when you get the players of this caliber to this event, there's no list to be created.
no.
Like all of these people have figured it out. They know exactly what they want to play. But now everything's changed, and we're in the year of 9.5.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about it. Chuck has no idea what he wants to play, right?
And how could you?
Different from game to game.
Yeah.
Hammer.
Yeah, just Warhammer.
Yep.
I'm bouncing around with different Eldar ideas in my head, but like I also love forces. So the fact that Genestealer Cult with NIDS is the way, the cheap, easy deep strike that does cool things mixed with the heavy heft of the NIDS, that's super fun and super appealing for me. Yeah. I also didn't really want to spam Raveners and Tyranid Warriors. I just wasn't very excited about that. So now that there's other options, I might spend some time there. Jesse, what are you excited about? You gonna play Sisters Primagich, or are you gonna try to do some other stuff?
I'm gonna keep going with Sisters. I already see about 3 things I want to change with my.
Okay.
I'm excited for anything coming this weekend and after.
Jesse says he's going to stay with Sisters. He's already seen a number of things he wants to change with his list. I'm not going to ask Matt Evans if he's going to stay with Tyranids because that's what he does.
I don't have any other options really. I've got Admech as my only other army, and I don't. That's only if Nids are literally the worst army in the game. So.
Okay.
No, you take that, flip it.
Yep.
No, I mean Guard exists, but I'm actually excited to run Scions.
Okay.
I think Scions have some interesting tech. Being able to show up within 5 inches and be like, yeah, here's 40 shots with AP that matters.
That is definitely what you consider interesting tech.
Yeah,
I'm sure of that.
Yeah, that like John Lennon said, if you're shooting close enough to them, it's effectively close combat. So.
Yeah. John said he's fine with a list not having close combat if you can shoot somebody from more than like 1 to 2 inches away.
Yep.
He said that's
Same
fine.
thing.
He said that's close combat where they just don't punch you back. That's fine.
Yeah, better.
And I was like, all right. I like the piling. I like all the movement from close combat. That's the fun part for me. But whatever, that's fine. I'm really impossible to please. If I play a gun line, I miss having close combat. If I play all close combat, I miss having guns. So there's no balance where I'm ever going to be happy. I'm just always going to complain. It's basically how it works.
So you're a 40k player.
Yeah, that's basically right.
I've got a game for you.
It sounds like I'm a chaos player based on that level,
mean-
that amount of complaining.
No, you sound like a Yanari player to me.
Ooh, Yanari
I want to
player.
punch you, but I don't want to get punched back. I want to shoot you, but I don't want to be out in the open.
How's that not fair?
There's a tier.
Oh, a tyranny question. Man, we are really ready for that in this room.
How are the tiered chapter tactics?
You don't have them.
Yeah.
Oh, the chapter tactics? You get the chapter tactic. I don't understand the question. Do you,
mean,
Matt?
I assume they're talking about when mixing forces. Like
Yeah, so if you mix Genestealer Cult in, unfortunately I'm not 100% on this, but I think you lose the ability to adapt at all. So you're basically stuck with your 2 traits. So if you're Kraken, you're stuck with +1 AP and 3 + D3 advance. I'll have to double check that, but I believe that's the case.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong people. None of us are playing forces here.
Yeah, the Forces guys are actually over in the garage.
Yeah, they're far away.
they're real far away. I can't throw that far right now.
Yeah. Can we check on the pool house and see if we can see them? We can't talk over that though.
No.
Oh, did we lose that technology?
Yes.
Fair enough. That we didn't need it. That's all right. I appreciate that decision. So we don't know how it's being ruled is the way that it's supposed to work.
My guess is that Matt's correct. He usually is when it comes to Tyranids. I tend to trust his his inside.
I'd say
So the main
about
thing that you
80%
lose is
sure on
the
that.
main thing
He's
you lose.
100%, guys.
The main thing you lose is the thing what's it called? The bonus you get from all your different characters that you lose when your warlord dies. There you go. The synaptic. That's what you don't get.
You don't get synaptic.
You
comparatives.
definitely do not get synaptic imperatives.
And
That's
you
definitely
also
true.
lose out on the marker tokens. These are cool.
Oh, you don't get blips?
Yeah. Well, no, you get the blips. You don't get the crossfire token.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. You also don't get crossfire. But they're asking something about custom high fleet traits, and I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'll be commentating after.
Okay.
There's
Is there
Alex.
a forces guy?
Hey,
Alex,
get
get over
your
here.
butt over
Come
here.
over right here. Here we go. Sit down.
Warmed it up for you.
The question is, how are we ruling? Read the question again.
How are Tyranid chapter tactics pulled in soup?
Being used. 2 different spots in the book that show whether you should be actually getting your traits. Like, are you actually Kraken? There's one bad wording that's like, oh, your army. And another spot in the book it says detachment.
Okay.
And there's literally no other reference anywhere that says like, yeah, if you soup, you don't get to, like, if
You don't get to be behemoth at all.
yeah, it's like, it'd be like if you took Ultramarines and Guard and you lose regiment and lose doctrines.
I can't imagine ruling that way as a TO without
No.
it being really clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. Alex has explained it. The funny thing about Charity Hammer is that the level of players that are here, there are no TO decisions like that, really. Like last year we did a thing, one of them we did a thing for Chuck where we made it clear that he could get out after a transport move for Sisters because it was really unclear. But like 2/3 of the tournaments were doing it and 1/3 weren't, and we made a call. But in general, it's like, if I wanted to know how we should do a ruling for Tyranids, I would ask John and Alex, and they're the ones already
Or Matt,
making the
or
list.
Tyler, or Josh, like,
You know,
the
it's,
lot.
like it's the people that are here that I would ask.
Yeah.
So we don't really worry about those sorts of specific rulings. Are we far enough along that the commentators would like us? The rest of us get to eat fried chicken.
Nice.
Hey, if you want to start with Mitch is actually coming.
Mitch is actually commentating?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I got some set.
Okay.
Anything else you want to do?
No, that's great. So we're going to hand off. It sounds like it's going to be just a minute before the commentary comes online, but we're going to hand off to the games, and you'll have Mitch doing commentary with somebody else. Nathan? With Nathan Henning from Fight Club, who unfortunately is local, but unable to be here. I'm not going to share anything about that. It's up to him. But he's not able to be here, so he's going to commentate from his hotel room. And that's wonderful that he still gets to participate. He is very bright and really has a great understanding of the game. I'm excited to hear his commentary. So, great to welcome him to the commentary team. And we'll be back to give away more things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Bye. Bye. Chicken.
You're live, sir.
Hello, everybody. So today, at least at first, you're just going to get me, StatsDad, for your commentary purposes for these games. So I'm just getting myself fully up to date on what we've got happening. First, we're going to have Sean Naden and his Orcs list as part of pool play going into Noah Badome and his Imperial Knights list. Looks like they are just picking their secondaries and going through deployment options right now. So we're really just in pregame stuff. I guess I can very quickly remind everybody, if you are enjoying the stream, if you want to donate, please go to www.charityhammer.com, click the donate link, and then for every $30 that you donate, you will get a raffle ticket that will enter you into all the prize giveaways that you heard before. You just heard that a Baneblade was given away along with some other cool Games Workshop product. Also, there are Art of War subs and some other stuff that is being raffled off, including some grand prizes that will be raffled on Sunday. But again, if you're interested and want to donate, or if you're interested and want to donate and don't care about raffle prizes, just go to charityhammer.com and donate. Otherwise, please enjoy our nonstop coverage of this event. Oh, somebody in YouTube is asking a question. Realize, Nathan, did Anthony beat you up and steal your house? Is that why you're in a hotel? No, what happened is I tested positive for COVID earlier this week, and so I am in an Airbnb trapped in a room quarantining as my symptoms clear up and as my fever goes away and such, so that I can be allowed back out of the room and back into the general populace.
It's okay. We have guards with bats with barbed wire around them, wrapped around them outside the room, so he's very secure. No one will harm Nathan.
It's true. Nobody will harm Nathan, and Nathan won't harm anyone else. I promise.
Absolutely. Hey guys, it's Mitch. I am here again. I'm back from a cat nap to go all night long. So, how are you doing, Nathan? You feeling better? You sound better.
I'm definitely feeling a lot better. I don't need quite as much cough medicine anymore to get me through my life, so that's always a good thing. I feel like no more fever. All the cough medicine is doing at this point is making me groggy, so I think I'm doing pretty well. About 80 to 85% better.
I feel like that's where all of our lives turn around, is when we need less cough medicine to get through life. So, it sounds like you're on the right path, and I'm excited for your speedy recovery.
Oh, thank you, Mitch.
So let's take a look at these games here. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, yeah, so we've got Noah and Sean up on stream right now. So we've got Noah playing Knights and Sean playing Orcs. And then I believe we have 2 other sets of pool play games. We have John Lennon playing Hank, and then we have Tyler Bortel playing Mitchell Hunter on another table.
Absolutely.
Those will be the 3 games that we've got cycling today.
Yeah, I'll cycle on through so we can show some of the terrain. It looks like setup is going on in game number 2, so we'll transition over there. We've got John's Bloody Rose versus Hank's Samhain.
That'll be really interesting to see. I want to see what the sisters look like post Nephilim changes.
And I think that John is probably about as authoritative a person to comment on that, other than maybe Jesse. Like, we have the 2 like real sisters, players of the meta right now here, and so I'm excited to be able to go back and kind of start reviewing what they went with and seeing how it goes. I love that there is a Castigator in John's list. I love that tank. It's I think my favorite 40k tank now. It's so baroque, so beautiful. It fits the army perfectly. It is both a tool of war and a device of worship. I just love that thing.
Church on tracks, as all Sisters of Battle vehicles should be, right?
No, exactly. Like, it's like if you're going for baroque, ecclesiarchal, military, like it's exactly what I want. And it's also it doesn't hurt that it slaps and it's now like 135 points or something silly.
Yeah, I think I heard somebody recently saying, yeah, so the points drops I got basically allowed me to fit in a Castigator tank just for fun. And I was like, well, it's kind of nice when you can get points drops that let you just fit in a battle tank.
And it averages like effectively like 17 2-damage shots.
Yeah, with its main battle cannon, it's true.
He has the auto cannon, which is 4d3 auto cannon shots plus 3 heavy bolters.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. So
I have only seen a Castigator played one time, so
absolutely,
it'll be nice to see other people play them.
Oh yeah, no, if like -1 damage wasn't so prevalent, I think that like 3 of them would be real easy to like just like windmill slam down in the back of sisters' armies very regularly and be like, yeah, this is just, it covers all the board I need it to, and it holds my backfield, it screens out really well. Yeah. So we're gonna bounce on over here real quick to table 3 so we can see what that's looking like as well. So we've got a set of scores that need to be reset. So I'm going to bounce real quick and get that reset on that stream. So I'm going to take us back to 1, or because we've got secondaries on 1 now, and you can start breaking those down, Nathan, while I get that corrected.
Oh, excellent.
Okay.
So it looks like we've got Sean taking Bring 'em Down, which makes sense going into Knights. Oh, did they just it's still Bring It Down, or did they just get cute and say Bring Down? Then Stomp 'em Good, I know, is one of the orc secondaries, and then so is Get to Good Bits. And then Imperial Knights, Yield No Ground, No Prisoners, which is always a good choice in a heavy infantry list. And then Duel of Honor. A lot of what we're seeing so far, in case anybody hasn't noticed, is that we're starting to see the rise of 2 to 3 faction secondary selections for a lot of these armies. A lot of armies have very powerful faction secondaries, especially after the Nephilim pack. Knights are really not an exception. They have some very powerful secondaries that focus on what they do well.
The big thing I
Yeah.
think that our viewers want to be aware of with Noah's Imperial Knights is he has an Imperial Knight that just does up to 20 wounds on it, just like when it wants to. It's a shock attack gun, 20 mortals. Just boop. There you go.
Well, did he take the? Well, he took the
Melt-A-Cannon, the relic Melt-A-Cannon.
Stratagem to convert. Yeah.
Yep.
Oof. Just enough cough medicine today where my brain works just slightly, not better than usual.
No, you're doing great. The thing with that is it can open a lot of Sean's army. And that's going to be an important tool for the Knights being able to participate in this game. He need those big boxy units aren't necessarily easy to hide. I mean, if anyone can do it, Sean can. But if he can get angles on it and pop one of those turn 1 and then preserve that knight and pop open the second one turn 2, that can have a huge effect. And then that night, all of those mortals can go right into infantry squads and really roll over and do some devastating things. So like Sean has to prioritize locking down that knight and controlling what it shoots at.
100%. And yeah, so they are being a little cute with the first one. It is just bring it down. And then we've got Stomp 'em Good, which is one of the revised secondaries for orcs, which is you score 3 victory points if the number of enemy units destroyed by melee attacks is more than the number of non-Gretchen units from your army that were destroyed by melee attacks this battle round. So it fits with a lot of orc general tactics to get mixed in early and quickly. And then to Get to Good Bits is a shadow operations one where you perform an action to get victory points.
Yeah, no. So I think that the other thing that's interesting in this match is terrain wise. You're dealing with a lot of large models on both sides, and so Sean really wherever he's going to be able to push his vehicles through is also going to be hopefully able to clog up where the Knights can go. And so knowing Sean, that's usually what he wants to do, is get those vehicles into the middle as fast as humanly possible so he can jam up lanes, so he can force Noah to be out of position.
100%. That's like the number one tactic. I mean, that's why you saw Biovores get included in Tyranids list.
Oh, absolutely.
Drops 4 mines in inconvenient spaces. If you can prevent Knights from moving up, moving forwards or just moving at all towards you, you can stop a Knights list just from doing what it needs to do.
Yep. Yeah. So this is really going to be important whether or not they Sean is able to get into the middle and gum things up. If he's not, and Noah can really push strongly into the middle and take that space, that could be good. The problem there is then he's setting up Sean for what Sean loves most, getting to charge into combat on his terms. So Noah really needs to have a plan going in, and I think he needs to lean. I think that he needs to recognize that that mortal wound gun puts a lot more of the tempo on his side than Sean's. Sean has to go play the mission and participate right now and force things to happen, because that mortal wound gun will just peel away too much of his army too fast if it spikes at all. And so he's got to have a plan and he's got to execute, whereas Noah can maybe play a little more conservatively and be able to rely on his ranges and higher ballistic skills and just more maybe more consistent shooting, and then engage on turn 3-ish when on his own terms. So it's going to be a little cat I like.
Oh yeah, this will be a fun game to watch, because it will, if the orcs can, that poor Armiger keeps falling apart. Poor Armiger. But if Sean can get mixed in really early and like you said, just clog the middle and prevent Noah from being able to play a game where he can use the mortal wounds to attrition down units really quickly, then I think Sean's got game into this list.
Absolutely.
And with the new WA rules with invulnerable saves and stuff like that, he can try to ignore a lot more of the incidental fire that normally would pick up swaths of orcs.
For sure. Okay, so we're going to transition back on over to John Lennon versus Hank. It looks like we've got all
fully
all of our deployment done, and we're moving into what is clearly John's first turn because models are getting picked up. Oh, lots of models just went away.
It feels like, is that not phantasming?
It might. Well, he's rolling saves, so I feel like they didn't roll for who went first. I don't think, or maybe he did phantasm. I will. Our table boss can jump in here.
Clarify for us.
Yeah. Our table boss.
Yeah, because if that was if that was a whole unit of stuff that just got picked up all at once, that's a little depressing.
All right, so we're gonna Yep, so we just saw so John went first, and now it looks like we're rolling into Hank's turn. He just rolled out his fate dice and set those up top. Okay. So I think that was some losses. Probably from the castigator shooting. And now we're going into the bottom of one. So we're gonna keep on rolling right on through here to table 3. We're gonna check out how that's going with Tyler and Mitchell, sorry. And it's rough to do that to another Mitchell. I'm sorry, Mitchell. No, anyway. So we've got Mitchell's Custodians and Tyler's Forces of the Hive Minds. Bortel always being a master of jank, and as we can see here, just piles of models trying to hide as much as possible. And then we've got Mitchell's Bikes with infantry support, the normal thing I think we've come to expect from him. And this is going to be really interesting, as this is going to be a completely experimental hive mind list against a pretty tried and true Custodies list that didn't really change.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about moving over to forces with the changes, especially because Tyrannid's secondary choices aren't particularly strong in the Nephilim book.
Yeah, no, it opens up.
And the loss of Stranglehold is a big deal.
Absolutely is. Yeah, no, there's definitely a place for that.
I mean, Genestealer Cold have very powerful secondaries in the new book that they can get access to. So if you can take a forces list and use those secondaries, then you can get a lot of leverage on your opponent.
Also, I think there's, even if that wasn't the case, the argument for blips and how useful they can be, it's hard to overstate how great blips are.
Oh yeah, blips are amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It does make me happy that when I get back to Chicago, I can pick up my Genestealer Cult book and take a look through it, maybe punch out some blips from my little cardboard thing that came with it.
Nice. So, guys, we're about half an hour into this round here, so we're going to take a quick break and talk about why all these amazing players are here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest in this perfect summer. We are here to support Child's Play. It is a charity that gives toys, games, video games, and board games to kids in children's hospitals and in spousal abuse shelters. And so obviously helping kids through helping people, or helping kids in the hardest times. Every dime you donate goes directly to the charity. Everyone is here on their own dime. We don't take a penny for that. We all chip in and make it happen. It's just to make kids feel good. $30 gets you an entry into the raffle. We've got all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm looking at some of the stuff we've already given away. We've got a Kill Team Octarius box. We've given away tons of Sisters stuff, tons of tanks. Some really big individual kits like the Baneblade. We've got even bigger prizes to come, including a $1,200 gift card to Hammerhead Games. And then we've also got, I think, the most sought after gift. Sean Naden painting, that's right, Captain USA, painting a 2,000 point army for you. This is a guy who wins tons of accolades for his painting. And as long as, within reason, not too many, we're not going for a horde here. Like, he will paint that for you. And that will be a unique one-off army that you have from Charity Hammer. On top of that, if you are the largest donator, if you really want something unique and you want to know you're going to have something unique from this Charity Hammer, we will be taking objective markers that are being used on table 1 and having everyone playing here sign them and sending those off to the top donators so that you will have the ultimate flex of the Charity Hammer signature unique autographed objective markers. That there will be one set. It will not exist in any other way, shape, or form. So get donating. We'll do another giveaway in probably around 8 o'clock, I think. And we'll have our MC Chuck do that he'll grab someone and we'll have fun with it. But yeah, so please donate. CharityHammer.com. Every $30 gets you an entry. We are giving away just stuff throughout the night, tomorrow, like all the way through Sunday. The sooner you're in, the better chances you have to win. Like, I mean, come on, you want to help sick children. You're not a bad person. You're a good person, right? You want to be able to look at yourself in the mirror. Help the children. Why aren't you helping the children yet? I'll kill you. I'm not above it. Okay. Back to this game. We're seeing some great pre-measuring. The Jackals trying to figure out where they want to be so that they can't necessarily be interfered with, I think, is the best way to put it. I think he wants to bait the bikes out that if they want to come on the other side, he's like, okay, cool, I've got gene stealers and whatever to deal with you, and I can actually throw a lot of wounds into that and probably commit and overwhelm them. What do you see, Nathan?
I think my favorite bit about this, though, actually is the giant mass of orange and black Tyranids behind that central ruin that are like just about as perfectly placed to be maximally obscured as is possible. That's my favorite thing that I'm seeing on the table right now as we wait for kind of these initial moves to happen. But yeah, I see the 2 sets of bikes have been moved forwards, either, like you said, to bait somebody out, or that's really all I can think of. I mean, the bikes are deceptively durable.
Yeah,
There's a lot of measuring going on, though.
Yeah, I think that this is very much, well, yeah, for when you have to move around ruins, he's doing it correctly. But it is very much trying to get Mitchell Hunter to commit an unforced error. And he is now on 2 objectives with that unit, and he's like, yeah, you want to come and take a piece of that.
Oh, 100%. You want to try to get your opponent to just start this right away.
What do you think of Tyler's secondaries?
I don't think that Mitchell has a bunch of Sisters of Silence in his list, so Psychic Interrogation's not, like, a bad choice. If he's got can't remember if Tyler has a Neurothrope still in his list, in this Mixed Forces list, but if he has one, Neurothrope can very easily just get a 3d6 cast on Psychic Interrogation or pawn it off to some other character unit to get a 3d6 on Psychic Interrogation, making it really easy and hard to deny as well. Behind Enemy Lines is an easy one for Gene Stealer Colt, since you can pop up from inconvenient spots by giving them the various upgrades. So that's kind of sensible to me, and R&D is an automatic 12 for Gene Stealer Colt armies.
Makes sense.
There's no good way for you to stop a Gene Stealer Colt army unless you have enough bodies to block every single inch of every single table quarter.
Sure. Yeah, it's because it's a 3-inch gap, right?
Yeah, and Custodians are never going to have the bodies to do that kind of body blocking.
No, absolutely not. Okay, so
I'm
let's look
kind of
over. Oh, go ahead.
impressed. Mitchell took Auric Mortalis, and I wonder what he marked for death.
I would imagine he's picking things that he knows Tyler has to commit. So he's just probably setting himself up to get more points for playing the game he wants to play anyway.
It looks like he did the Swarm Lord.
Ah. Yeah, like punish him for like it's a bully unit that he doesn't really want to deal with, and it's the unit that kills his bikes most effectively. So yeah, punishing him for that makes sense.
That can get you up to 15 points, especially if he uses the Swarm Lord and, like, not aggressively, and you can kill it in his deployment zone or the neutral zone.
Yeah. And
Between zones.
And Tyler likes to play pretty conservatively, for a few turns. So there is a decent chance of catching him in the neutral zone for sure, and possibly even. I think that's a great read on the situation. So we're gonna slide on over to table 1 again and see how that game is going. Okay, it looks like we are pretty much deployed. And what do you think of this deployment here? I think that Sean is staged really, really well, and has clearly identified that big knight in the corner is the can opener. And yeah, you're gonna lose 1 transport to that maybe, but he probably is still gonna get the. Actually, I almost guarantee he's measured that he will be able to vomit out the guys inside onto that objective anyway. Just looking at where that truck on the bottom right hand is at.
Yeah, it looks like he's protecting his transports just enough while being pretty aggressive with their deployment.
Yeah, no, I think he's been really smart about it. He knows that the 2 little knights in the top left hand corner are not going to get it done, and so I think he's just really trying to avoid that mortal wound hose, and trying to and engaging on that stuff on his own terms. And as he goes, he'll be able to kind of throw like. He only needs a turn or 2 of posing because Noah has to come forward as well. So looks like Noah goes first. So I don't know. I don't know that Noah wanted that. Maybe he did. I think it really depends if he's going to be able to get eyes on a transport, and we're going to see exactly how well this Imperial shock attack gun goes.
Yeah, to me, I'm sure they're going to start the command phase with the doing of the various bondsman abilities real quick.
Oh, for sure.
But the terrain looks set up in a way where the transports should be safe from everything but the Armiger class knights, unless.
Well, it looks like there's a big knight in the top right-hand corner that might be able to go out and down to the right and be able to get lines on that one of the transports. That's the only one I can see where I'm like,
Yeah, they might be able to skirt around the bottom right-hand side, I suppose.
Yeah, not sure.
That's about the only thing.
We're gonna find out real quick though.
Let's see. And it has been a long time since I've seen orcs played as well, to be fair. And I'm kind of excited because they undid a bunch of the orc restrictions, and then they also gave them some buffs in the new balance data slate. So I'm excited to watch orcs kind of flow back into the meta pretty freely now.
So one night is
Sean,
talking to Donator 9001. One night is going to be it has the big Melta lance, and that is the relic Melta that can then be turned into mortals. On a 6, and he can make one of those a 6 automatically, and then if he rolls another 6, it's just like oops, all mortals. So
yep.
It gets real gross real quick. And what's cool about that is you only have to hit a couple times, and then it can just turn into a bunch of mortals that can kill a bunch of individual dudes. It's a very cool weapon. It's hard for me to not want to just play knights just for that.
I assume he's either got somebody's asking in chat which knight does mortals, and can you explain? I'll see if I can pull up Noah's list so I can pull up the exact names of everything for folks while Mitch talks a little bit. Or I can just pull it up. It'll just take me a minute.
Yeah. While you're doing that, we're gonna roll right on through the other ones. We'll know it takes care of his movement phase. On to 2. There it is. Okay, let's take a look at what we've got going on here. We're seeing the Shining Spears move up. This is the all Shining Spears Sawin Wind Riders, or yeah, list being played by Hank. We've got the Sisters having taken a bit more of an aggressive move up. I'm not sure if that tank is actually still alive. The Castigator may actually be out of play. I don't know how far it moves. That seems like it's far. But it could have just directly disco scooted to the side.
That was a good 8 to 10 inches, so it might be okay.
Yeah. But seeing a lot of potential charges being measured by Hank here.
Yeah, Simhan Army probably just wants to aggressively get in.
We'll be right back.
I'm so used to seeing only hail armies.
I am back. Oh man, we're seeing some aggressive moves by Hank here.
I feel like he ate that first shooting phase and lost that unit and decided that he needed to kind of go for broke.
Yeah, go now.
Like you need to go now or you're not going to be able to go at all essentially because you won't have any resources left to go.
Sure.
And if you're taking Wrath of Cain, you need to go now with those aspect warriors to score it. Be interesting to see. I think those are striking scorpions that he just moved up the board really quick.
Could be striking scorpions or
banshees.
No, it's the corpse spiders.
Oh, there you go. Makes sense. That's why everybody needs to paint all of their miniatures only in the automatic Codex Aspect Warrior Shrine color schemes and nothing else. No creativity from anyone ever. Just for me, so I can recognize them on a camera feed.
You don't get to make the army your own. It's been done this way for hundreds of thousands of years.
Exactly. Come on, you don't get to make changes to tradition. That's not how this works. Sorry to scare you, stream chat. I thought we were cutting away to something, and so I muted myself rather than vamping while Mitch actually just had to go do something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was trying to be like. Don't
Probably-
just go. Okay.
Probably feed underwater himself.
Yeah,
So instead, you
dinner
just
wreck.
got a good minute of awkward silence while I stared off into the void, thinking I wasn't supposed to say anything.
No worries. It's okay. You are poorly,
Ugh.
and that is not your fault. So I'm gonna roll us on over to table
No.
3. We're gonna check that on out. Here we go, Mitchell and
Yeah.
Tyler.
Let's see. So it looks like Tyler managed to score at the very least psychic interrogation, I'm assuming. Since, yeah, behind enemy lines would be 4 points.
Michael Timpe says hello. He is sitting next to me, vibing.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that Michael Timpe is just vibing there today.
Guys, I'll be right back. They need a judge. Probably for a minute.
Okay. I will. This time I will
This time
vamp to the maximum
Excellent.
efficiency of vamping.
I'm gonna hand you over to a Michael Timpe.
Oh, you could do that. I love having a Michael Timpe.
It is me, Michael.
Hi, Tempe.
Hello. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh, it's my favorite person.
Oh,
How are you doing? I'm doing good.
I'm sorry that you couldn't come.
You are one of my favorite people, Tempe.
Oh, I know. I wanted to. See
I know.
you
I
even-
am. I too am sorry that I couldn't come. Our brief exposure at Besson Tabletop Open wasn't enough for me, but that's okay.
It was as socially fulfilling as it was not contagious with COVID, which I appreciated.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Only I got the vid.
That's my favorite sort of interaction these days, is the one where no one gets sick.
Yeah, that's my favorite kind too, is the kind that is fulfilling in every way that doesn't involve a pathogen.
Mm-hmm. Are you still at the Airbnb?
Yes, I'm still at the Airbnb. No more fever, just me and an Airbnb. And occasionally a river out back that I go sit next to.
Mm. And you're helping with the commentary?
Yeah, we're in the early stages of the commentary for some of the pod play for the GT before the top 8 stuff happens. So right now everybody's got Tyler and Mitchell on screen, and it looks like Mitchell is rolling dice at Tyler.
Mm-hmm. Mitchell is
And it
very
looks
good
like-
at custodies, and Tyler is, as we all know, very good at GSC.
Did you get to do some stuff with Outward Realms over yesterday?
Yeah, we had 3 games, or well, technically 4 games. Because the middle game didn't take very long. The Nightfall player was very new. It was Mitchell, as a matter of fact. So I did an exhibition game with Josh to fill in the rest of the time. And that was great.
So the event went well for the three rounder that you guys held for Outward Realms.
Absolutely. Yeah, Josh won the whole thing. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. I'm glad.
Yeah, it was Josh versus Tyler.
Unfortunately, due to like Oh, even better. That's a good kind of like cerebral match then, probably between two people.
Very much was. It'll be available on our YouTube channel
Known for
after
more
Charity
cerebral
Hammer.
play. Did you just say it was going to be available on our YouTube channel?
Yeah, it'll be available later. Absolutely.
Awesome. So everybody should check that out. My few exposures to Chimpy's game have been very impressive.
Yay, thank you.
See if I can decipher really quick or check to see if I've got a table boss update. Meanwhile, Alex Tau slides into my DMs to bother me because I'm streaming and he must do this. It's his way. Okay, so it looks like the swords and boards are going into the bikes in the center. Looks like one squad of bikes has been cleared out by Mitchell. Looks like maybe two squads of bikes have been cleared out by Mitchell.
Okay.
That would leave Tyler with no bike screens. Losing all of his bikes turn one might be a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Although I suppose they are speed bumping.
I don't know much about the new GSC bike, but if they're like the old one, not much for durability.
Oh yeah, Gene Stealer players are truly, or not players, Gene Stealer models are truly paper models for the most part. Any dedicated AP or shooting of any kind just kind of goes through them.
Yeah. Yeah, I already beat Tyler with my list at this event, and yeah, I can attest to fragile status of.
Are you playing the Chaos Knights or are you playing
Chaos Knights.
Imperial Guard
Chaos
for this?
Knights.
The Chaos Knights 14 Armigers?
13, but yeah.
Once it gets over 10, it's all kind of the same.
Yes. Yeah, I'm actually 2-0 at the event. So I played Chuck at 9
Awesome.
o'clock.
Oh, see if you can go 3-0 and take the pool play. That'd be really great to see a slide into the top 8. Really not slide, but kind of kick open the door and just take your spot in the top 8 quite dominantly.
Be rewarded for ungaing the max bungaing.
I mean, somebody's got to do it because Anthony's not doing the Unga Bunga, so you might as well be the champion of the Unga Bunga.
All right, I'm passing you back over to Mitch. It's been great, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in, Timpy.
They didn't end up needing me, but I went and took care of some of the people who are looking over the streams for Charity Hammer, made sure they all got fed.
What was the call that they were trying to get?
There was an
Now I
uneven
just
amount of
gotta know.
terrain, and so they were trying to figure out what to do, and then they found the other piece. Really uneventful.
Oh, good. Well, man,
The exact
I was looking
type
for
of
some tea to
rule-
talk about.
Yeah, the
or
exact
some
type of rule you
drama of some
expect to be
kind,
asked about in
Mitchell.
Charity Hammer. Like, hey, we're missing a piece of terrain. That's the exact call I expect. Like anything more than that, and I have issues with you. Like, This is for charity, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Need to have a fist fight for charity over this rules discrepancy that we have a disagreement over, you know.
Well, we'll just do the 40K equivalent of Foxy Boxing with all the players here. And we'll just get a ring in the driveway of Collins, and we'll get some pillows, and everyone, you know, can just be scantily clad and they can beat the shit out of each other. It'll be great.
It sounds like midnight streaming to me anyways.
I mean, it'll still probably be sunny, like we're so far north. It's fine. It feels that way at times. But anyway.
I know
we should probably talk about 40K. I think that's what all the good people here are here to enjoy.
Nah. All I was talking about earlier is that it looks like Tyler lost both of his bike squads to Mitchell's early advance.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it doesn't seem like a whole lot happened that first turn.
I feel like Mitchell engaged with those bike squads in the correct way to not open himself up to Tyler's chicanery. Yes, I said chicanery.
He didn't fall for the bait. He saw that and went, "That's bait," and then did not fall.
And he's
for
like,
it.
"But I can kill it from afar, and you can't do anything about it."
Basically, he just kind of marched up some sword and board guys and some other guys and was like, "I'll just shoot them to death instead." Which is the way when your opponent has no saves to speak of.
That's the no save army versus all the save army.
Otherwise, it looks like we've... Yeah. And it looks like we've moved into Tyler's turn 2, so we're at top of 2.
Sounds about right.
Tyler just holding the one objective because Mitchell cleared him off 2 of them.
Yep. Well, no, he's holding us. I think
he
he has
scored.
a jackal on one hiding back that middle center one on the left.
Oh, maybe.
He might.
He has 6.
Well, I
he
don't
has
know.
6 primary points according to the thing right now.
Well, then you're probably right. I mean, fine, just sit there in your rightness. I hope it feels good.
Sometimes I'm bound to be right. Eventually, occasionally, I'm right. Not about much, but about this, maybe, provided the scores are accurate. There's a lot of caveats that I can put in here, and as a scientist, I have to put all of them in place so that people don't misinterpret me as being 100% certain of anything in my life.
Oh man, no! Like you have to
Oh, good.
guarantee
Somebody gave
things.
me-
Everything has to be certainty. I can't deal with the idea that you might actually change your thought process on a thing. How dare you, sir? How dare?
Oh, Jesus. How dare. I know. Oh, and I got Noah's list now, so now I can read it real quick. Oh, Facebook chat is not a good... I'm going to let everybody know that Facebook chat is not a good way to read lists, though.
Okay, we're gonna.
Do we want to check on one of the other games real quick and see how they're doing?
That's exactly where I was going with it. Here we are at table 1 again. Here we opt. And a lot of stuff has piled out down in that bottom corner. We have not seen Sean roll anything out yet, and the Knights have not committed to the middle. So now this is Sean having to figure out how to push forward and make things happen. And it's going to be a lot harder, especially since a lot of these Knights can just step on these ruins and see right through them. Oh.
Yeah, there's not going to be a cover once those Knights just start tapping those.
No. I think the most Sean can do is really try and maximize the forests that are in the middle, those two volcanic kind of pillars, to get -1s to letters, to get -1s to lessen the efficacy.
Yeah. He's going to have to try to limit it as much as possible that way. Just try to reduce a few things.
Is there, so let's ask the chat, is there a particular game you guys are hyped about right now? Give them a few minutes to answer that while we keep going through and we check in on table 2.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, so we've got John sitting at 3 for secondary, Hank sitting at 1, and man, there are a lot more Eldar down near John than there were before. Those sisters are I feel like the neighborhood they're in has gotten a lot pointier.
That is my favorite way of referring to that, actually. Far pointier.
Oh, a nice set of save rolls, it looks like, from John there, but he still loses some. High AP, yeah. Shining Spear is picking up stuff, not shocking. It's going to be real interesting to see how. Go ahead.
I was going to say, is the castigator still there? And then I saw it's just a little bit down at the bottom.
Yeah.
It looks like to me like Hank is playing this and leapfrogging from cover to cover piece essentially with his bikes to get them in position.
Yeah, I think
and then using those aspect warriors to skirmish for him and try to clear off some of those early objectives to prevent like just a tidal wave of Sisters of Battle from coming out and just blasting him off the table.
Well, and he's using those expendable units to also make that middle, slightly middle to the right ruin where the Shining Spears are hiding behind as this safe launching bay now, like you said. And it's really, really effective because Sisters, like without enough, like the fly units that John has are not they're nowhere near enough to get over there. So if he tries to start committing that way, he's actually playing into Hank's hand because Hank is going to be able to retaliate before they even get there, in a turn in between and just nuke them. So I think that Hank is playing this as well as you can. However, we never underestimate the Boy King. And John can do all kinds of dirty things and pull out all kinds of wins. So this is going to be a great game to watch. And I think this is the one I'm most excited for. Chat, we want to hear from you. Again, we're going to be giving away stuff in an hour. Every $30 gets you an entry. Giving away all kinds of cool prizes. The sooner you enter, the better your chances of winning. CharityHammer.com. Help the children. Come on. It's for the children. Like that's that.
For the children, folks.
Yeah, like that's my only argument is just for the children. So, what do you think about
and for folks who are asking,
go ahead.
I was going to say for people who are asking about the mortal wounds, so its first stage is a stratagem. So you use a stratagem to trigger the mortal wounds via oh Jesus, I just had it. Calculated targeting for Questor Mechanicus models. So you'd pay 3 CP to do it. There's a few ways to reduce that in Mechanicus households using Tyrannis stuff, but that's where on 6s to hit, it converts the damage from your ranged weapons into mortals. And then his Knight Errant has Knight of Mars, so he can convert one of his dice into a 6 each turn as long as he's honorable.
Yep.
And the Heirloom Storm Spear rocket pod that he has is a 3-shot D3 plus 3 damage rocket attack that ignores line of sight. So you can use that to just artillery barrage people with calculated with that stratagem to just pump out D3 plus 3 mortal wounds into things each turn if you want to. And Knights have no problem generating CP. So you can roll some dice and you get a free reroll as well from his other trait. Then 1 die can be turned into a 6. So you can just fish for 6s on 3 shots and put as many up to 3 D3 plus 9 mortal wounds into something on a turn from out of line of sight.
Amazing.
And it looks like Hank just took a fair number of secondary points, probably from Wrath of Cain, maybe Psychic Interrogation again. Kind of hard to say. But you were about to ask me a question before I rudely said I finally found the answer to a question somebody had asked.
I was gonna ask, how do you feel about how Hank is staging up his next turn here? Do you think that he is overcommitted, like that Shining Spear, like his Shining Spears, or do you think he's effectively penned in Lennon?
So I'm a big proponent of like a counterpunch. Personally, that's how I usually tend to play. The only question I have is if John has any jump pack units currently in reserve. That could be a threat if those can drop, and then making a 9-inch charge is a thing that sisters are quite well equipped to do with the right miracle dice setup. But otherwise, he has a decent sized screen in front, which will make it hard for Lennon to get all the way up into the spears with chaff or anything like that. You don't necessarily want to charge the Shining Spears with just a 5-person like basic sister squad. You want to probably put some Repentia or some Zephyrim or something at least capable of putting a dent into them, since Simhan, I believe, allows you to fall back and charge as their native trait.
Sure. Yeah. This is a real, I think, board positioning here is going to be fun, like pivotal, and I am worried that John is not going to be able to blossom out as much as he needs to. Now, I know he has miracle dice. There are a lot of ways he can get a lot of movement, and again, we never underestimate John, but I do think that there is some really good penning in being done by Hank here for trying to keep what the sisters do contained and be like, okay, you're only going to commit to this, otherwise it's going to cost you an inordinate amount of movement. I'm going to get to engage on my terms.
Yeah. And his screen is really doing the best job of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Sisters aren't like normally super fast, and most of them being on foot means he can't just float over those screens to try to get into the bikes that are behind it. So he's going to have to go into the screens first, or just try to pick up the screens at range, which means possibly losing on some objective play. Yep. So I think Hank definitely has an advantage, like you said, by kind of herding Lennon into specific spots.
I think how we would say this is that right now the impetus to change the state of the game is on John. And Hank is in the, he's currently in a winning state, so he doesn't need to act so much as react right now. And it is up to John to change that state. And if there's anyone who's capable of that, it's John.
I will say the one question I'll have for Hank going with this plan is that Wrath of Cain doesn't really fit, I think, with the scheme of scoring that plan entails. Because Wrath of Cain is a modestly aggressive secondary.
I see what you're saying, sure.
But I might be wrong. Do you know what John's secondary choices actually do, though? I'm not familiar with all the sisters' secondaries, like Sacred Ground and Defend the Shrine specifically. Leap of Faith is one that I had used against Bigger repeatedly at the Open, so I'm more familiar with that one.
Yeah, I've got you covered.
Oh, you're the best.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. So let's get. I'm just going through all the Space Wolves one or Space Marines ones. They're all Space Wolves. There's a There's Sororitas. Okay.
Oh, go for it.
Sacred Ground. If you select this objective, units from your army can attempt the following action. One or more Adeptus Sororitas infantry or Cult Imperialis priest units from your army can start to perform this action at the end of your movement phase. Each unit from your army that starts to perform this action must be within range of a different objective marker you control that has not been consecrated by your army. See below. The action is completed at the start of your next command phase or at the end of the battle, whichever comes first. If completed, that objective marker has said to have been consecrated by your army, and until the end of the battle, that objective marker gains the Inspiring Adeptus Ministorum terrain trait. It is not considered to be a terrain feature for any other rules purposes, and so each time you complete this action, you get 1 victory point if it was if it's wholly within your deployment zone, and then 5 victory points if it was not. So a really strong secondary.
So that is really good.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what the Inspiring does. Maybe chat.
I think it's just +1 leadership.
I mean that's not necessarily useful here, but that would be cool against like Chaos Knights. Okay, so we're gonna do Defend the Shrine next. Defend the Shrine, Battlefield Supremacy. If you select this objective during the During the resolve pre-battle ability step of the mission, select one objective marker on the battlefield not in your deployment zone to be the Sacred Shrine objective marker. If the only objective marker on the battlefield is in your deployment zone, then that must be it. At the end of your turn, score 3 victory points if you control the Sacred Shrine objective marker and an Adeptus Ministorum from your unit from your army is within range of that objective marker. At the end of the battle, if your opponent controls the Sacred Shrine marker, objective marker, you reduce the number of victory points you've scored the secondary objective by 3 to a minimum of 0. So this is again kind of just play the mission. You know, he's going to go where he wants to go anyway. I think the question here is whether or not Hank is going to be able to effectively keep John from actually getting, defending that shrine. We shall see. And then our last one is Leap of Faith. At the end of each player's turn, if 2 acts of faith... Oh, I know this one. I did it. 2 acts of faith were performed from your army in that turn. Score 1 victory point. If it is your turn, 2 victory points of your opponent's turn. If 3 or more were performed, it's an additional victory point. This is again just burn through your miracle dice. Just get victory points to do it. He has picked a lot. I don't think we're surprised that John Lennon picked a bunch of secondaries that synergize. Man, do they synergize! And he definitely has a game plan here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then somebody in chat asked what the Auric Mortalis target was. The Auric Mortalis target for the Custodes Forces match is the Swarm Lord.
Yeah, let's rotate to another matchup.
Oh.
Moving on over. We're in Tyler's turn 2, it looks like. That's some alliteration for you.
So, I'm trying to figure this out. I wonder what units are on those 2 top objectives right now. He's definitely scored a lot of secondary points. So I think we're starting to see behind enemy lines probably start to trigger and psychic interrogation.
Yeah.
R&D probably as well. Like the forces of the hive mind list is going to score so many secondary points so quickly that you can sometimes have a hard time catching up as an opponent. It doesn't even necessarily need to kill you. It can just let its units die horrifically to your clapback. As long as it can continue to score its objectives. Just doesn't care. It will waste all of its neophytes to plant that one flag, to get that one R&D, to get that behind the enemy lines.
Make the plan,
until it
generations
runs
in
out
the
of
making
5-man
happen.
squads to throw at you to do it.
Absolutely. Okay. So it looks like this game is still Mitchell has a very clear strategy. We're going to see if it pays off for him in a turn or two. Right now, Tyler is clear. Tyler's either shutting him down or is playing right into his trap. We don't know which yet, because a lot of Custodes are still on the table. It doesn't look like much has died. So it could be that Tyler hasn't gotten to charges yet, or he isn't going to make his charges. We don't know yet. So we're going to keep on keeping on like a rolling stone.
Yeah, Mitchell still has his turn 2 to go as well.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot to do. Oh yeah, that's going to be pending. So, okay, the game state has changed a bit here. We've seen a tide of green going at those knights. The big transport is, what do you know, blocking a channel. How could we ever have predicted?
Who could have predicted? Every channel is blocked by bodies.
Yeah, this it literally is. This is, you could teach a clinic on move blocking just from the movement phase of turn 1 of Sean Naden.
Are those Meganoms being moved into combat right now? Looks like some Meganoms have made charges.
It's entirely possible.
Based on base sizes going into that front armature, that might be a crumped armature fairly soon.
Well, so yeah, it's Sean's got to trade very effectively and really start to get away on primary here. And force some of the smaller knights to come into the middle to try and hang around on primary, and then he can use his orc combat to punish him for that. But he also has to be very aware of, like, everyone but Gaz has to be real aware of that knight that just can just make you disappear.
Yep. Yeah, he has to be cognizant of the fact that a unit in the open or a unit that can't hold something in combat is a dead unit. Although it looks like he has now made 2 charges. We're going to see another charge now. Wow, he's made a lot of 7-inch charges. Oh, re-rolling it.
Another 5.
Ooh, he re-rolled. Yeah, he re-rolled the same result, basically. That's not good. Looks like somebody's going to be out of combat. Here we go again. That'll get somebody in, though. He's definitely getting multiple units into combat with those armatures, who I don't think are actually equipped for melee combat.
I don't know. I think that there is a mix, and I'm not. I those look like guns, for sure. This could.
There are 2 units of. There are 2 units of Warglaives. There are 4 Warglaives and 3 Helverins.
So you really hope that those
I had
2 yellow and blue knights are Warglaives that were used to defend the Helverins behind them, but we shall see.
Yeah, we'll find out in a second. Looks like something else made a charge. That might be Gaz, though.
Okay, we're gonna roll on to table 2 while we let them resolve this combat, and let's see how things are going over with John and Hank. Okay,
Also, so people know real quick, Sean did call a wah first turn.
okay. You know, man, some orcs just can't hold their wah, and they just they spill it all out right at the beginning, and everyone's different. And now we know Sean's more of a basic war boss. It's fine. It's it's okay.
He's got some premature whying going on.
Yeah, like it's totally common in fungi that age. Like it's no. So let's I got him, guys. We got him. COVID didn't kill him, I did.
God. It's true.
Okay.
So it looks like John is making some charges or shooting. Maybe both. It may be shooting first. Yeah, it's shooting first. He's shooting some stuff to death real quick. I think those screens are about to evaporate to some concentrated might of the Emperor.
Well, yeah, if you take that powder and then you add just a little battery acid and you get a paste that, like, you can see the Emperor, I swear, every time.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think we've just seen both squads that made up that screen just disappear completely from the table.
Yeah, we've got it looks like 3 dudes left entirely, and those shots are coming through. Lennon doing Lennon-y things. Saves will be made. Didn't make it. There goes that guy.
And this is the risk of wearing pajamas to a bolter party.
Yeah. They've been around for, eons. You'd think they would have come up with better armor for their basic troops. And just to put it out there. Like, all of these are immortal, irreplaceable warriors, but 4-ups? Really?
You'd think they'd invest in better pajamas.
I'm just saying, like, you think that the individual people would take the time to manufacture their own body armor just for themselves. That is nicer than that. Like,
You'd
they
think
have
so,
to walk
especially
all
with
they have to walk
a
all these
race that's
paths.
not
That's the
having many
first thing
kids.
I'd go to is flak jacket school. Like, that's my first path. Is like, what's the path that lets me live to try all the other paths? That's where we're starting.
That's fair.
And they'll be like, okay,
I mean,
so
that's when you go to the dark.
it's going to be
The Dark Reaper path is the first path.
it's going to be armor, and then elven macronutrition, and then we're going to get you into some hot elven yoga, and it's going to be great. You're going to live forever. It's going to be wonderful. We cannot wait to show you eternity. But
I mean, the few books that actually have you go onto Craft World basically describe Craft World life as idyllic.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
they have no wants or needs on the Craft Worlds, essentially. They just kind of go about whatever myriad of paths they want to focus on and kind of live their life.
it's easy to be idyllic when you're like, you know what? Let's just genocide that race so we don't, lose cable. Yeah.
It's my favorite description of Eldar shenanigans yet.
Yeah, like, oh, hey, look, that you know what? That solar system just needs to fall because I've got my Netflix like password, and they realized that I kept it and I've been using it for like 200 years, and I don't really want to have that conversation. So let's just kill them all. That's why Eldar wipe out entire civilizations. It's to not have awkward conversations. They are the British of 40K. They're like, boom, like they're like old British, not new British. British Empire.
I love it. Everything about that. That was my favorite.
Okay. I can rag on Eldar indefinitely.
So it looks like it's a good hobby. So it looks like John made a charge into the Shining Spear. It's with a unit. Not sure what kind of unit it is, but it is a unit.
If I had to guess, I'd say probably Repentia, but I could be wrong. I feel like that would be the unit, if I had it, that I would send in.
And it looks like maybe Overwatch. Or the Wire Weave Net, perhaps, for D3 Mortal Wounds. If those were Rangers.
We see him just
Apparently we're having some
taking that objective away from those Rangers or Guardians or whatever they are there. And holding the other objective as well, or contesting it, I believe, as I think that Hank just had a model towed in or nothing at all. So again, it's this little stuff that leads to like, oh, that was a 2-point swing. But when you think about it, 2-point swing, that's 4 points every time. Like, it's like there are all these little things that really make a difference. And I think we're seeing that right now.
It's actually my favorite example of what you can do with charges to be a jerk to your opponent. Is you can roll an 11 on a charge. Like, a lot of times people will either not roll charges or not care as much, but you can roll an 11-inch on a charge and swing that one model out all the way 11 inches and just close with a couple models onto your opponent's like last model.
Yep.
And so the examples that we're seeing here are how you can use those charge moves to really take some objectives from your opponent and do for some really fancy stuff. And it looks like those are probably Repentia, maybe Zephyrim that got in there, but probably Repentia.
Yeah, I think the Zephyrim are going up top.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Yep. The
9-inch charge.
There's the Zephyrim there also.
Yep. There it is. It's go time. This is a real bad thing for Hank if dice don't go his way. But if they do, like then Lennon has just fed him a key responsive unit, and he will be in a better place. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Lennon would have committed him if he didn't think they could do the job. We're gonna see.
to pop over to the last table. We've gotten a bunch of notes thrown at us from our friendly stream hosts about what's going on in Tyler and Mitchell's game.
Well, the Lee Steiger is doing a great job of nutshelling along the way for us, which we really appreciate. Both Steiger brothers, beacons, in the hobby, they've done a lot to really foster the Bellingham scene, and now just working behind the scenes, just kicking butt, getting it done. Make sure that we have the manpower we need with so many cancellations for Charity Hammer. We appreciate you guys. And we appreciate all you guys watching. There's just another 47 minutes until we're going to give away some more great prizes. I don't know what yet. I'm going to go over there and pick it. Will it be the Catachan Sergeant that's worth like $400, even though he's just an model? Maybe. I don't know. If I'm feeling saucy, it will be. Donate now, and you can find out. Again, that's Child's Play.
You can donate at
that's for Child's Play. It's at charityhammer.com.
www. Charityhammer.com is where you donate. Hit the donate link. Every $30 gets you a raffle ticket. Get fun raffle prizes like the $400 Catachan Sergeant.
So I know that we've been commentating competitively to to try and take lines from each other, but maybe we should work together. It's a radical change to the format, but and that's on me, not on you. There's just enough of a delay that the speed I talk at, I end up interrupting you.
Oh, it's fine. Oh, no. I'm so mad. Can you tell how mad I am, Mitch? I'm so upset.
You are third bottle of cough syrup mad.
I am, exactly. That is how mad I am.
Yeah. Third bottle of cough syrup mad. I know exactly. But we're using mad more of in a Dickensian way than like an anger in the 21st century.
I understand.
And
okay.
So for any of the younger listeners out there wondering what Dickensian means, I would suggest you go on the internet and look up what a book is, and that's a good start. And eventually you'll find out what Dickensian means.
You probably want to look up Dickens.
No. Just start with books. Just consume all of books, and eventually you'll get there. That is the exact path I want to set people on.
You'll eventually get to Dickens.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, one way or another. I mean, you could start alphabetically, not the worst, randomly. Ooh, that could end poorly. Yeah. It really just depends. But no matter how you do it, the important thing to understand is the children that were in the Dickensian setting were just as sad as the children we're taking care of now. But those ones could not have an Xbox to make their life better from all of the malnutrition and slave labor. We can do that now. We can give them video games. We can fix that part. We have the power. Do it now. Help the children.
So,
for prime time on Friday, I definitely think that was a good pitch. That wasn't I definitely nailed that. Okay.
You did fine, Mitch. You really pitched books well to the audience of like
Zoomers that aren't here.
Our average age of viewership is in its 30s. You've definitely
as I mansplain books to them.
Audience. Yes. It sounds like Tyler's charge phase is not exactly going according to plan, though, if everything that I'm reading in our notes are true. So it looks like
there's this
doing well in his
crazy new
game.
Stratagem called Tanglefoot. I hear it's good.
Yes.
And I hear that sometimes it can tangle
the
up.
Ravener's made an 11-inch charge.
Oh, hachi machi. I was gonna say, sometimes Tanglefoot can even mess up a plan generations in the making. But see,
I love that. That was good. That was well done.
And the comedy shop said I wasn't funny. Called me a hack. What do they know?
You just needed to find the right audience.
I just needed to find my forum.
Shop goers. Exactly. You just needed to find your forum of just me willing to listen to you tell bad jokes.
A
That was the form you
COVID-19
needed,
victim
Mitch. All-
high off his noggin on cold medicine is my night at the Apollo, ladies and gentlemen. We found it. We've hit rock bottom. It's great. I'm looking forward to my recovery. It'll be a really touching story. Yep. Okay.
Love it.
So, moving on here.
Trajan apparently interrupted into the Warriors. The Warriors and the Raveners did. And then the bikes apparently interrupted on the Raveners and killed 3.5 of them.
Man, this does not sound like it's going Tyler's way. So there's something really important to understand about Mitchell Hunter. He's a really nice guy. He knows he has played nothing but Custodes for so long that the second that there is like the barest of a gap in anything of your plan, he'll be like, oh, boom. Like, I'm going to just drive a Trajan-sized wedge right in there. Like, cool. Whatever you were doing, it's not going to work now. Orders of operations are a bitch, aren't they? He's really good at that. And I mean that as the highest compliment. So I think that Tyler is maybe getting a taste of that right now.
Sound like
and I don't mean that in a gotcha sort of way. He just will be like, oh, I interrupt here. I interrupt our moment shackle here. Oh, look at that. The two things you were counting on happening don't happen. So we're going to scroll right on through to table 1 again, see how the orcs are doing. There are still a lot of orcs, and there are still some knights left. Gaz is punching a little knight. Like, there's a lot of gesticulating going on. Dice are being rolled. Like, definitely 40k being played. No lies detected.
Go. Oh man, I'm looking at 2 different things in the wrong place at the same time. Is what I'm doing.
Wow, that's a
It
lot
looks
of.
like there are at least 2 fewer knights than last time we were on here. So there are 2 fewer armigers in the top right, and there's still an armiger in existence in the middle with Gaz in combat with it.
That might be a war dog or warhound, whatever. Not warhound, the warglaive. We have the 2 big knights still up, which is an important thing, as that is a lot of gas still left in this knight's tank. I don't know that Noah has the CP to really inflict the mortals he needs to clear some of the orc stuff being shoved in his face right now. He might just have to charge in and try and get it done that way, but that's going to leave him open to being interrupted and yank from Sean. So
he does have a melee knight, so he has a knight equipped for melee. So he could do it with the errant. He could use the errant or the paladin to clear out some stuff.
No, absolutely. I think that it's just at that point you don't know if you bounce for some reason or if something doesn't go your way, you've now exposed yourself to orc combat, which is effective.
Oh, it's looks like one of the orcs has had a bad day.
Yeah, brevity is the short, or is the height of Crumpin, as it were.
It's true. Sometimes your day is short and you get crumped, but other days your day is long and you get to crump a lot.
Yeah, and you do a lot of crumping.
Exactly. Gotta remember, sometimes you run away from a fight. It's not running away. You're just going away so you can crump more later, guys.
Sometimes
there's
you
no
have
running
to,
away in orc.
Sometimes you have to save crumping for later, otherwise you'll have nothing to crump later, and then you'll crump your boys, and you don't want to crump your boys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a whole crump economy going on here.
Yeah, we have like a whole series of lower ranked players that we're just letting Anthony and Vanilla beat the shit out of behind the garage that no one gets to see. It's really heinous. We have a mop. It's kind of gruesome, but we're playing 40k, so we figured it's on theme as long as it's not shown. Twitch and YouTube should be okay in theory. I think the betting is legal because it's going to charity. Charity. But yeah, none of that's real.
Are you telling me that you have to go spray down the garage again to remove all the viscera?
Yeah, it's the chunks that get caught in the flagstones that really stick with me.
I mean, that sticks with me both emotionally as well as mentally, I won't lie.
Yeah. And we've just turned off half of the chat. The other half's really into it though because they play Chaos.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that chaos match between Anthony and Chuck later. I believe that's going to be on stream at tomorrow.
Excellent.
Yep. Tomorrow night from 9 p.m. to midnight, there will be a Chuck and Anthony matchup for new Chaos Who Dis, essentially. In which Anthony will show all of you what the new Chaos brings for violence. Wow, 13 secondary points suddenly scored.
That's a few. Like, I mean, you can only
That's
score
just-
45, and he's just like, you know what? 30% of them right now. What's up? I'll get the others, in a turn or two, okay? A turn or two.
I guess if your concern is, I need my orcs to be alive to score secondary points because of all the things that he took, then he needs to score them real fast.
This is true. And Sean is really great at maximizing that and being like, oh, you tabled me. Cool. I win.
Yes. Like, it doesn't matter if you table me as long as I've outscored you in the process. Although it looks like we're going into Noah's turn too now. Based on primary being scored, Noah's got 8 primary that he just scored from holding 2 objectives.
I'm sure the table boss could pop in here and tell us in our ear when they have a chance. Should have headphones on.
Magic. Are you saying that somebody can magically tell us what is going on?
Lava. It has a 1 on it. Just giving some instructions for how to read 1 to a lawyer. Normal charity hammer things.
It's good. Yeah. Does that make you feel like really powerful in the moment?
Oh no.
Not
at all. That same dude was telling me how he was roommates with the guy who started Venmo when he started Venmo, and I'm like, oh man, no, I feel real bad.
Is this what lawyers do? Is what you say? Is this what lawyers do?
Just swim from one sea of money to the next. Right now, I'm kidding. They have to pay off law school first.
They eat all the money in the swimming pool as they swim. That's what they do.
Like basking whales. That's what Danny's actually been training for.
Yes, that's why he looks moist all the time.
He's going to be just going in a pool of money with just his mouth open, just filtering out all of the smaller bills.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I don't need any of these 1s and 5s or 10s. Give me 20s, 50s, 100s.
Okay. So it looks like they're resolving some combat still. I am.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if we're actually in turn 2 or not.
Right.
Oh, nope. No, just got his CP. So I think they were just talking about maybe some pregame stuff or maybe some command phase stuff. And
that makes sense.
And the big knights are not tied up right now, so he can. Right. So here's the thing: the combat knight is stuck. It can't really get to anywhere it wants to be right now. So he needs to just send it right down in the middle there, and kill whatever is clogging up that artery, and just keep going, trying to go forward with it. I don't really know what else you can do in this scenario. We are seeing like picture perfect, like zoned move blocking from Naden here, and this is what you expect from the captain of Team America, and it's what we're getting. And it is just I think it really speaks to how much orcs have also been buffed with this new these new few 3 PDFs. Yeah, there are 3 PDFs have changed the whole way we see the game, and I think that I'm seeing people coming back and wanting to talk and who maybe have not been actually involved that much in ninth because for whatever reason it hasn't had quite the right vibe, and the changes to secondaries and CP and everything are bringing people back. Whether or not you like the changes, it's definitely getting people talking and getting them interested, and I am excited to see what the next 6 months of this pack look like, and then what they choose to do from there. I really hope that we start to see a much healthier cycle of input from the community at large. There will always be the salty 40K players and the people who complaining is their fourth part of the hobby. But for everyone else, I hope that people maybe get more used to being able to give the feedback through proper channels to actually get things to change the way that people want to see it to have more fun. And we start to actually build maybe some trust in that, okay, the balance updates aren't always going to be perfect. I think everyone looks at what Necrons are now and like, oh, that's a little spicy. But at the same time, we're like, you have been like the only people you get to step on are guard. So like, and it's been that way for a while. I mean, they have gotten better with the last balance update as well. But with these two updates, they are now going to be in the S tier most likely. And everyone's, I think, okay with that, going like, okay, in 3 months, if they're too hot, they can be like, you know what, Silent King, you don't get core. You know what, all vehicles don't get all rerolls. I'm sorry. But they can have some fun in the sun again, and that is cool. And the fact that everyone can have hope that their army might be good in 3 months, I think is a really important change in how people will perceive the game.
Agreed. I agree.
I monologued there, sorry.
Oh, I'm so mad.
See, he's mad again, guys. And he's, what is it? Dickensian mad. That's what we call a callback. So if you want to know what a callback is, kids, you're going to want to go on the internet and look up comedy. And just start there, and you'll eventually get to callbacks.
Jeez. If you can't tell, Mitch has a problem with the youth of today.
Oh, I love the youth. I just like sarcastically talking down to them as if they haven't existed with every form of media that we've had in every part of their life all the time. And I think it's hilarious that that people are like, hey, if you remember what a book is, like, yeah, we know what a book is. We just don't know why you still have them. That's not the question. But I just like to sound like the cranky old man that's yelling to get off of my lawn at the clouds. Okay, so we should talk about 40K. We see that knight has shunted over to the left, and then the other one has shunted down, going to really get into some hard contact with orcs, it looks like. And this other knight is touching terrain to be able to take shots at Gazi. And I'm guessing that the Helver near him is also doing the same. We are going to let this all resolve, and we'll come back and see what has gone poof as we roll on over to table 2. 19 minutes until I'm going to go grab Chuck and make him give some stuff away because I had to do it all day. And it's his turn now because the schedule says so. And the spreadsheet rules all. Ew.
It's true. The spreadsheet does rule all.
Unless it won't load, and then we wing it. Okay, we are back at Hank and John. So we've got.
Looks like we've 14 secondary points scored by John in that previous turn.
Yeah. John is swinging for the fences. So we've got a couple shining spears still existing down in the bottom right corner. We've got all the shining spears. I want to say white scars, but all the shining spears that were up in the top left quadrant going down to the bottom left quadrant that we can see ready to really assault into John's castle, which I don't know if that's a good idea or not. It's hard to see what is in there at the moment. And then we've got the final couple shining spears, or possibly just farseers on bikes. I don't see spears necessarily on them, just hanging out in back vibing. Hank is looking a little threadbare for units, but he does have a full unit of Shining Spears ready to really go in there and make things happen. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's enough to really deal a hammer blow. I don't know with Morning Vol hanging out down in, near the mid-center objective there that's going to be enough. I feel like she just comes back, walks over there and just goes, "It was really nice to meet you, leave."
Yeah, Morven Vol is not a slouch in combat, and I feel like people sometimes don't expect her to just walk over and just beat the crap out of you if you're not careful.
I really want to
which she will do.
Just Morning Vol, 3 squads of Nundums, and then just max Penitent engine and the other ones as well. Just max all that stuff. Just that kind of profile, that kind of size, and that's all it is. Oh, I feel like that's a good time for a weekend.
Oh, 100%.
I'm going to be right back. So I will swap over to table 3, and I am going to let my co-host vamp for a bit on what is going on between Mitchell and Tyler.
Okay, so it looks like Tyler has advanced his lead on primary and secondary a bit, taking 8 primary and 12 secondary. So whatever happened in the middle must not have been as critically bad as it appeared to be, at least initially. Tyler must have more resources that he can spend to do some of this materials than what we considered before. Looks like Trajan is off on his own in the middle. Bikes are moving to deal with the top and the bottom of the 2 flanks. And then we have Custodian. Custodian is picking up models essentially with every activation in shooting, which makes sense as most Gene Stealer Colt essentially have no save. And Tyranids aren't exactly known for high quality saves. Looks like bikes are going into the Warriors in the mid-right field, and then Trajan is just essentially picking up Raveners by himself. This is kind of always one of the crux moments, is that there are some melee units that Custodians have that will just cut through Tyranid melee units without really needing to think about it too much. Let's see what else is going on real quick. What do we got in chat? Just Nurgle Matt. Hi, Nurgle Matt. Welcome to the chat. I can see that you're just trying to help out. Giving people a link. If people want to donate, they can donate at charityhammer.com. There is a donate button there that you can use in order to donate to the charity, which is Child's Play, which provides toys, video games, and other things to domestic violence shelters as well as children's hospitals, so that children going through some of the worst experiences that they have needed to go through thus far can at least be entertained and have an enjoyable experience in those places, to help deal with those very stressful situations. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, it looks like Trajan will be clearing out that Ravener squad. And to me, it's starting to look like Tyler is going to start running out of units to trade with. And some of it may be determined by whether or not he can establish enough of a lead on primary and secondary points that won't matter. There's a bunch of gesticulating happening at the table, though, so I wonder what we're going to see next coming from that table. So they're going into the chapter approved book to look at something for the mission. Otherwise, it doesn't look like too much is going on. Looks like we've got a brief moment of lull in play for the moment while they take a look at something and kind of figure something out. So, Chad, if you have any questions, I can definitely participate with y'all for a little bit. I am watching the YouTube chat closely at the moment. So if you have any chat questions that you want to get off your chest, if you want me to expound on the great value that is doing all sorts of stuff, I would be happy to expound on it for you, either about the charity. We've still got something like $4,000 worth of stuff to give away, and we'll be doing those giveaways basically regularly throughout the stream. Again, $30 gets you a raffle ticket. So for every $30, if you donate $300, you get 10 raffle tickets entered into the raffle, and you can get entered into win all sorts of great prizes. We've already given away stuff like speed paint box sets, the Red Gobbo, boxes of blood letters, Moiraxes, a Beast Snag box. There will be a bunch of other stuff that will be given away over the course of the event, with the grand prize being either a $1,200 gift card or getting an army painted by Sean Naden. And if you've ever seen one of his armies, you would be quite ecstatic to receive that as a prize. And realize if you want to chat about Nid's stuff, I'm happy to chat about Nid's stuff in the YouTube chat. Can talk about how I'm either going to go full on warrior spam or just have like one 9-man brick and then a pyropod still, because I love that pyropod. There have been so many moments where it has been very useful in multiple matchups. People tend to get very distracted when you drop 2-3-man pyrovore units into their backfield, and then they get vomited on for 66 strength 6 AP 2 damage 2 shots. Looks like we're back to the game now. Looks like we're doing some movement. Looks like we scored 2 pips of psychic interrogation and 2 pips of R&D is what I've been told for Tyler. It's been told that Tyler is on 0 for primary this turn, actually. So all that primary is from the previous turn. So Ben Fredrickson asked a question in YouTube chat of, are you tracking stats for secondaries for the RTT? Not really tracking stats for the RTTs. RTTs provide too small of a sample size to really get good measurements out of. When you have them in mass, they make very fine measurements. That's what ITC Battles app does. And 40K stats run by Peter the Falcon does, now done on Goonhammer via their new updated website. They use the ITC Battles app to collect broad data about secondary usage, both in tournament play as well as in non-tournament play, which lets you take a look at kind of how the broader game is being played. We will try to start tracking
I am
secondary
back.
usage. Not every. Oh my gosh!
Okay.
I wasn't prepared for voices in my ears.
Sorry, did I come in too hot there?
No, I was just, oh my gosh, people.
He got excited. His tail's wagging. It's adorable.
I did. I got very excited to hear people come back into my life.
Oh, yeah. Right now, you just have the chat, and the chat is kind but silent. Okay, we're going to head back over to table 1. I went and looked at all the tables to have a little bit more clarity of the units we're looking at. Just so,
thank you.
Just for my my ability to actually tell what's going on. So here, the light blue and yellow knights that we're seeing, not the ones that are the half yellow and half blue, but the ones that have more of the model, the intermixed. Those are all warglaves. So we have one in the top left-hand corner here. We have one near the dead center middle of the table, just above Sean's transport, and then we have one over by the big knight in the top right-hand corner next to a Helvern, and then we have a Helvern up top center objective as well. So that's a little bit of information for what's going on there. Okay. But Noah is doing better on secondary, or Sean just hasn't had secondary scored yet? I don't know. Oh, yeah, Noah.
Well, looks like Sean is doing well on secondaries. He's got 13. He's just not doing well on primary right now.
Well, I think Noah probably had top of turn. In fact, I know he did. So it's entirely possible Sean hasn't had a second turn yet, so we haven't had a primary score from him.
That's fair enough. Yeah, because he did WA first turn, so he probably just went deep.
He did go deep. So that's...
He went deep.
Wait, what's that? A Sean Naden first turn that took like an hour to figure out? No way. Like, this is what when you have one of the most technical finesse players in the world, this is what you're going to see. It's just like, I guess I should do all of my tricks all at once, and then just like everything explodes everywhere. And we're seeing Noah try to really clap back and exchange, and we've definitely seen a good amount of orcs get removed from the table. And the fact that both big knights are still up, I think means that Noah's in the game. But I don't know how much longer that's going to be true with this Gaz combat going on right now.
Well, it looks like we switched over to Sean's turn too now.
Oh, we have, yes, and there was some aggressive pointing and some lovely jazz hands from Naden. You love to see it.
It's my favorite thing, actually.
Okay, so we're going to roll right on into table 2 with Lennon and Hank. Here we are. Okay, good. So the unit that was in the top left objective was Warp Spiders, so I'm guessing that they have just teleported to that middle center ruin over right by the Farseer on bike and I'm guessing Warlock on bike. We've got the Shining Spears have made it into John Lennon's lines in the lower quadrant. It looks like he's taking a good chunk of the stuff, but like again, Morninval is still around. Hank is still getting his stuff going. I don't think he's actually piled in there yet. I'm not sure. He may have already completed that combat. So we'll wait for Hank to wrap up his turn, get a good idea of where that's at, and we're going to see Morninval clap back pretty hard, I imagine. In that lower left-hand corner, and then those Shining Spears, I also don't necessarily think are much for this world unless he has some sort of stratagem that's going to help them get back to safety.
Agreed.
Okay. What are your thoughts on it? Is Morninval and just some sisters left and a tank enough to handle the Eldar that Hank has?
This is one of those things. Where I actually think the Eldar might just be in a really bad position.
I think I do too.
Um,
I think that they're not going to be able.
Um,
They didn't get ahead on primary in any way, shape, or form. They're not. They don't have any sort of lead to work with, and they're losing the attrition game. I agree with you.
right. And I think, unfortunately, maybe it's just that the not enough punch from those Shining Spear units to really like punch through his units.
The Armor of Contempt.
Yeah, especially with Armor of Contempt in play.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, Hank might just be finding that the juice isn't worth the squeeze. There isn't enough gas in the tank. Whatever sort of liquid container sort of metaphor you need, I think that the Shining Spears just might not have enough sloshing around in there.
Yeah, that's true.
But and that might be a result of the new world of CP. You know, like Hank might have. It also just might be that Hank overextended himself. He needed to wait one more round and to have enough CP to do all the things he needed to do. I don't know. I'd be really interested to interview him afterwards and find out.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear what his decision-making process was like there. I would want to hear what he was thinking might happen in that position, but it also looks like whatever units went up into that objective just kind of cleared most of the Shining Spears just off of it right away.
Okay, we're gonna roll on to the next game as it looks like things are not going well for. Oh, hold on. Because maybe we are getting some Shining Spear attacks.
A whole unit of sisters just disappear.
Yeah, it does look like that. We're gonna break away from this game real quick to go over to Colin and Chuck. And they are gonna give away some stuff real quick. And then we'll be right back to the games, guys. And so if you've been donating, now is the time to see what rad stuff you've won.
I bet you're thinking you're too cool to boogie. Boy, oh boy, have we got news for you. Everyone who's here tonight must boogie. And you are no exception to the rule.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm out.
Fine.
I have a doctor's note.
You have a doctor's
I
note?
have a doctor's note.
Okay. Have I given away Be'lakor yet? Because Be'lakor seems like the perfect thing to give away. With
Speaking
you
of
sitting
people
here.
that boogie,
What?
Be'lakor is down.
No Be'lakor has been given away, Chuck.
All right, let's do it.
Tell them why. Tell them in 4 words or less why Be'lakor is so cool.
Pink horrors, blue horrors, and brimstones.
6
Ha! I used no. That's brimstones is 1 word.
5 words.
5 words.
You
Perfect.
also said and. Anyways.
No.
Okay, fine. Can you give me a number? What number between 1 and 302 would Be'lakor pick?
Oh, there's only one number that Be'lakor would pick in that range.
What is that?
69.
We already have.
Damn it.
You're the 5th person to pick 69
I tried.
because we're a bunch of 12-year-olds here.
All right, 333.
Oh, okay. Well, that's more than the 310 I asked you to pick. So we'll go with 310.
All right, 310.
Greg Gonzalez, who is the most recent person, one of the most recent people to donate. Thank you, Greg, for helping children. We really appreciate it. In return, we will send you Be'lakor. I hope that you have use for Be'lakor because he's dope. He's one of the coolest models in the entire game.
He's super fun. Put him together without attaching the base until you're done painting him. Then he's super great.
Why is that?
He's very hard to paint with the way his base is.
Okay.
There you go.
Hot tips. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look, Bellacor's right there. Dun dun, Greg Gonzalez. You get Bellacor.
Oh, it's such a cool model.
Yes, I love him. I've actually
You
considered
have to
buying another
magnetize
one.
the heads on the wings so that you can do it for 40K and for fantasy.
That is not true. You do what you want.
Just to have it modeled correctly. Otherwise, they're going to be like, no, that's a fantasy Bellacore. You can't have that here.
Mitch, 1 to 309,
Nine, but not 69.
but not 69.
No, I know that. Yeah. I know. We'll go with 287.
That's a solid number. 287 is Noah Badom's wife, Jessica Badom.
Oh,
They're not going to want to win that.
No, they won't.
We'll jump it up to 290, and Jeff Jew will win a Art of War War Room subscription for 1 month.
Awesome.
Nice.
You get to win that in addition to other prizes. That's a bonus prize. So you're still in here to win other things. Jeff, everybody, $30 gets you a raffle ticket. Every single dollar goes to Child's Play. That's a charity that helps children in children's hospitals around the world. They also help domestic abuse shelters. It's an amazing thing. That email that you get back, that's tax deductible. Rock it. The person who donates the most over the course of the whole weekend gets signed objective markers from everyone here at Charity Hammer. Super cool prize. The top prizes of the raffle that we're going to give away on Sunday are $1,200 gift certificate to Hammerhead Games. Buy whatever the heck you want that they sell. Or Sean Naden will paint your army. You send him 2,000 points of army, he'll paint them and send them back. He even said it could have a bunch of infantry in it. He said that. So there's still lots of time to donate. We're approaching $11,000. Would love to get higher up there. At the very least, we need to pass 12,005 because that's what we did at our second biggest event ever. So so that's what's going on here. And I think now we're going to kick it back to the games. But in about an hour, we'll jump in and we'll give away something fun that I'll tell you about right now. I'm going to tell you right now that we're going to give away. There's too many spreadsheets in front of me on all these different devices. No, I'm not going to tell you.
What I can tell you about what's going to be here at 9 o'clock while we vamp for the rounds to get set up is there will be an adorable puppy here. So come back for that.
Which one?
Luna.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Luna's pretty cute. Luna's pretty cute. All right, guys, we'll get back to the game. See y'all soon.
Okay.
And we're back, guys. We'll be transferring over to game number 1. See how that's going with Sean and Noah.
Game number 1.
Okay. So we're seeing Sean's turn 2. So indeed, now he has his 8 primary. We're seeing a really nice tight game here. To start with, there is no clear being ahead right now. Sean is committing a lot of resources up. He's going to have to hit hard, and he needs to make knights disappear, because if he doesn't, he's going to disappear. And that's really just how this game is going to, it's what it's going to come down to. But I'm sure Sean has a plan. He always does. And I cannot wait to see how it unfolds. How about you?
I'm excited to see what Noah's plan will be moving forwards. Because it can't just be keep big knights back anymore. He's going to have to engage with them because he's lost several of his smaller knights.
So we see the
Sean's
boss on Squigosaur
still has
moving up on in the top right there, getting into a Warglaive that already has, it looks like, 6 wounds on it. Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, that's fine. I mean, unfortunately, I think because Sean was able to engage early and often and jam a big knight back into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Noah's going to have a hard time now engaging because of it. Because he's still kind of trapped in that corner.
He is.
He hasn't really gone very far out of it. So I think this is actually, Sean can take board presence really easily and kind of pick up those armigers while the big knights kind of try to negotiate their way out
I think
of a jam.
I think it basically it's this turn of combat. If he whiffs here, or if for some reason knights survive and then those knights are able to slap back, I feel like that what's in holding the knights in combat and back will evaporate, and I think that that's the sort of the pivotal turning point here.
Right, I agree.
Okay, so we're gonna roll right on into table 2 because we gave away stuff. So there's more to catch up on. Oh, that's a lot less sisters that were around. So
Yeah, there's like no sisters around anymore.
Ornenval's coming out to play though. We knew this was gonna happen. This is the matchup we expected. Once those Shining Spears charged down there, they were always going to end up with this. We see the Rhino going to tag that squad of Guardians, I believe, over there, and then yeah, just lots of little movement details for John, just setting up all of his plays. Both players now playing with very few models. Any sort of spike or in dice rolls here could really throw the game one way or another, I think, since we're still only in round 3. Moving right along.
Yeah, John does have a pretty commanding lead, it looks like, in secondary points, especially, and has managed to deny Hank most of the primary points so far.
Yeah, no, I think John definitely has the ball is in Hank's court to make this happen. But there are few enough models around that if Mordenval just decides not to make saves, or if Shining Spears just decide to be bosses on theirs, there definitely could be a swing one way or the other. We're gonna roll right on into table 3. Here we are. We've got bikes picking up big bases in the backfield there. I am this has stayed tight, and I am not seeing a lot of Tyler's models still kicking around. Swarmy's still on the table, down in that lower left quadrant. And then it looks like we've got some gargoyles possibly up in the middle there. And then some Ripper Swarm bases in the top left quadrant, holding that objective. And while some bikes, it looks like, are hanging out. Or that might be a dead pile of bikes. I think that is a dead pile, but I'm not sure.
I think it is a dead pile of bikes. No. It looks like there has been a kind of a little bit of a change. It looks like, according to our notes, there was a super smite. Tyler managed to bring in a lot of his reserves and got R&D and psychic interrogation off again, although he only got 2 mortals on that super smite that I just mentioned. Swarmlord managed to make it into combat with Trajan and then killed Trajan Valoris in melee combat before overrunning.
Nice.
But since Swarmlord is that Auric Mortalis target, that's a big deal.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is well, he still has lots of bikes left that can pick up Swarmlord at range, which is not something that Tyler can be happy about, I have to imagine. So
definitely not.
So I feel like that is a real problem for Tyler, and I don't know. I see looks like a few infantry custodes left right around the center, right above the middle ruin there. And we're gonna see exactly it looks like we're going into Mitchell's turn now as he just gained some CP.
There you go.
So I will be muted for just a moment. I gotta take care of something.
You're fine. And looks like Tyler is not getting a lot of primary points, though, based off of what I'm being told. A 0 for primary for Tyler. Yeah, so that is 2 turns in a row that Tyler's been held to 0 on primary points. If that's going to continue and Mitchell continues to deny him those, he may just get swamped out towards the end of the game as he uses resources for getting the secondaries in particular. Although it does sound like Mitchell is starting to gradually lose his combat units to Tyler, so probably will come down to whether or not we see some effective melee combat coming out. So we've got Psychic Interrogation going off there. So he will get 3 more points for Psychic Interrogation. So he's got 12 on Psychic Interrogation. Looks like Mitchell also has both units of bikes still, or at least part of both units of bikes still, in the far left-hand side and on the bottom right-hand side of the screen.
And we're back.
Looks
Okay,
like,
guys.
looks like Catalyst was just denied, so Tyler's going to be leaning into
I got you guys.
All right. Are we still working with Streamlabs being down then? Is it just me talking to myself in chat? Oh no. All right. Looks like we're still on technical difficulties for just a little bit longer, folks. As we try to figure out what is going on, or maybe it's just my stream that's crashed and everything is fine. Well, that's just me talking. But I'm glad that to see that we have audio